Okay, guys, welcome. For I guess it's gonna be take a little bit longer than the serious tutorial that we are doing for so far. For this tutorial, what we are going to do, we're gonna do a registration here. Okay, we're gonna make a registration form because we already make that link here, reg, but it's not displaying anything here. Okay, because the document here is empty. Okay, so if I redirect to reach here, it will be empty here. Okay, so one of my friend on Facebook gave me a comment that I have to write the step-by-step procedures, or you can call it the algorithm or something like that, whenever I'm doing a tutorials. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you an introduction for this series of tutorials. Okay, at least for the validation part, user validating part, because whenever you are doing a registration form, you gotta do a validation part. So on the first video, what we will going to do, just we're gonna validate the data there. Okay, so if we go to our phpMyAdmin here, which is gonna be localhost slash phpMyAdmin, we can see our tables and we can see the attributes over there. Okay, so it's redirecting. Just give me, okay, here you can say reach, and there's a users table here. So we got the following tables here. So whenever we want to register a user, what did we want to do? We already got a user ID here. So it's an auto increment. Whenever a user is just submitting his data towards there, it is incrementing. It means when there is a validated user, a client, we're gonna do validation on the server side. We are not going to use a JavaScript to do on the client side. We are going to the page. We are going to use a PHP there. So we are not going to fetch the user ID, or we are not going to grasp the user ID because it's an auto increment. But we need the username, we need the password that we are going to decrypt into MD5. We got the first name, last name, and the email. These are the things that we fetch from the user. So these are we're gonna be the fields. Okay, we're gonna have a username, we're gonna have password. We're gonna create a first name, and we're gonna get the last name, we're gonna get the email. We're gonna make the user to retype the password, so we're gonna need another field which says password again. These are the attributes that we are going to use for the validating the data. Okay, so whenever you are validating, for instance, if we are validating a username, there are certain attributes that we must consider. The first one, the username must not be empty. So whenever there is something that is not empty, I'm going to use an asterisk sign to show that this field is required. So these are the things that are getting required for my field. For the username, the password again, the first name is mandatory, so the user must submit the first name. But for the last name, I'm gonna leave it just as it is. I'm not gonna make it mandatory. But for the email, it's mandatory. So whenever the fields that I'm making an asterisk symbol, it means that those fields are mandatory, or they are required to be filled. So what we are going to do for the user, there are certain attributes. It must not be empty. It means it is started by the asterisk symbol. It means it is required. The other, the username must not have space. Okay, whenever the user typed their username and made a space, we are going to tell them that you must not use a space. Okay, you must remove that part. We are going to say them through that. We're going to check the password strengths, and we're going to make the minimum password to be filled to be 6. Okay, and we are going to make sure that this password and this password are the same. This password and this password must be the same. That's what we are going to do on the upcoming tutorials. So we're going to invalidate the email. We're going to validate the email that there are different built-in functions that are built into PHP that we can validate email or different. Sometimes they are called regular expression. Okay, such kind of things. So we are going to make sure that by validating the email through the server side, by validating the email through regular expressions, we're going to validate the email. So these are the things that I plan to do so far. uh, yeah, I guess that's it. So on the upcoming tutorials, I'm gonna make a tutorials how to validate data, or how to validate a registration form through PHP programming language. So till we get started, I can't wait. I can't make my hands to get dirty. So stay tuned, keep on subscribing, and keep on liking my channels. Thank you very much. We're gonna start lesson 1 on next tutorial. Peace and love.